Now, all the physical cash is now gone from the system. That's all the physical cash there was. It moved around a bit, and then one day it was just gone. And everything is now digital entries on a spreadsheet. Your spreadsheet, the bank's spreadsheet, and the Fed's spreadsheet. The critical thing I want to point out here is you are no longer holding what's called publicly issued money. What you are holding is a digital claim on a private bank. Right? The bank owes you some money. That's what you think of as your bank account. That's why within money and banking and economics, we say this is commercial bank money. Your account in a bank is commercial bank money. It is not a liability of the Federal Reserve. It is a liability of your personal bank. All right, the bank, if I just go back, the bank is the one who holds the liability of the central bank, not you. The bank does. All right. So the way to think about it is what banks are. They're an intermediary between the Federal Reserve and you. That's what the banks are kind of doing in this setup. Now, you're just taking private money. You're not you're not using US dollars, you're using your bank account. That's some private issue. Now, what is a bank account? It is a promise to redeem on demand your checking account 1 unit of commercial bank money for exactly 1 unit of US currency. That's the promise, right? If you go to your bank and you say, give me $10 in physical cash, the bank will give you $10 in physical cash. That's what it is, okay? Now, what makes that promise credible? Bank says, I promise you I'll give it to you if you come in. Maybe they won't. So historically, bank customers would get a little nervous. We saw this in March in California. Depositors get a little nervous that maybe they can't get their money back out of the bank. They're not going to honor that promise. And then people would run and say, look, I want my money out. And that's a classic bank run. And that's what we had in March 9th and 10th with Silicon Valley Bank. It was a classic bank run, just at a speed that we have never seen in global history. So we try to stop these bank runs because they're not good for society in some ways. And so to try to make sure that we don't have bank runs, Congress created the Federal Reserve, which I helped run, to serve as a lender of last resort. The whole idea is, if you think back in the old days, like the 30s, the customers are running to the front door of the bank demanding cash. The Fed shows up with a truck at the back door, and we're just throwing the cash in the back door. The bank's picking it up and hands it to the customers. After a while, everybody goes, okay, I got my money. It's not a big deal. Calm down. Go put it back in the bank. The bank gives it back to us. We take it off and shred it. That's it. That's the lender of last resort.